Set the rules for realtors. Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers.
All right, so today we're gonna react, or I'm gonna watch this video. I'm gonna react to it. Thought it was interesting. I'll give my opinion on it. But this guy is Real Estate Mindset. I actually watched his videos. There's some good information, some bad information, but overall, the guy is an entertainer for sure. He's probably a good agent. Probably does some good stuff. But
now the data is in, and the National Association of Realtors is looking more and more desperate to survive. The Department of Justice is now getting involved in real estate affairs and is trying to ban sellers from having the option to pay the commission for buyers' agents. And that is exactly what we're going to dive into today. And we're going to talk about what exactly the Department of Justice wants to make the solution. A lot of changes going on here, y'all. And I want to remind you that the Department of Justice involvement in the situation is in addition to the cases that are already going on against realtors and the National Association. Is this the end of an evil empire? Because
all right, so the litigation, the lawsuits that he's talking about is over the past couple of years. Slowed down recently. Over the last year, probably slowed down a lot. 2021, 2022, it was crazy. Offers on offers and people bidding each other up, paying like the buyers were paying some agents commissions. So it was all sellers market. They wanted to pay less commission. They wanted the most amount of money, paying more than the houses are worth, skipping inspections. They were sending offers without contingencies, meaning they don't need to get a loan on it, meaning they're not going to do an inspection. All this craziness, because it was just like a frenzy. Everybody wanted to get a house. So in that little struggle, people were mad because I think the stats off the top of my head, I probably should have looked it up before I started the video, but something like 70% of people that bought in the past 3 years are not happy. And the reasons that they stated on there, they were rushed, they weren't informed, that they felt pressured. I forgot what it was, but just a bunch of reasons like that, right? And it all comes from being rushed, I guess, into something or trying to get clients excited to go buy something. This is why buyers need good representation. I personally lost a lot of business because I wasn't actually Real Estate Mindset. This guy says cheerleading. I'm definitely not a cheerleader. I see what your goal is, or when I'm working with a client, I find out what the goal is. If the goal is to get a house, and okay, then that's to get a house. But there's a budget. Sometimes there's some traveling. Sometimes there's certain features. Sometimes you gotta share a space with family. Sometimes you're looking for an investment property. It really depends on what the goal is and what the person is trying to do. I don't just tell them, oh, you qualify for this much. You better hurry up and buy this house before you lose it. But let's make sure that the house works for you. You know what the payment is, right? It's I try my best to do that. So back to Real Estate Mindset, he's talking about the lawsuits, and that's what it is. It's people were rushing, and that's why they're unhappy with the deal that they got, because they either overpaid, they were rushed into it, whatever it was. I can look up the details. Just hit me up in the DMs and I'll send you that report. This is like legit stats. Let's continue on.
Don't forget, you guys, there are more and more cases being filed across the nation. We can see from this article the end of the evil real estate empire. Lawsuit targets artificially inflated fees, like I've been warning you guys about for 2 years. You guys, there's an additional lawsuit filed, a second federal class action copycat lawsuit that has the potential to drastically change the real estate industry has been filed in Nevada. I'm going to tell you guys, this is the end. This is the end of massive brokerages. The National Association of Realtors, they cannot afford to continue to make this fight. In fact, there are reports that are saying that they are out. They have no more legal insurance to fight these lawsuits any longer. But again, you guys, I'm more interested in what the Department of Justice plans on doing differently. And don't forget, if you find value in this video, hit like, hit subscribe, hit notifications. It really helps out the channel.
Good point, Mr. Real Estate Mindset. Go ahead and subscribe so you guys can get more of this information. Maybe I can make it entertaining. I know I might maybe a little monotone.
Either way, I hope you guys find value and I hope you guys enjoy. I have a few articles to reference. We're going to start with this Inman article titled DOJ to Judge, Broker Commissions Should Be Decoupled. The Department of Justice said a proposed settlement in the major antitrust lawsuit might itself violate federal law and said buyers should negotiate their broker's commission directly. That's right, you guys. They want to make it to where the sellers don't even have a right to pay for the buyer's agent. They want buyers to negotiate their commission directly. As it stands right now, basically, if you're going to sell someone's house, just for the sake of argument, you see it in the DOJ documents, even though commission is negotiable, usually it's 6%. It usually costs 6% to sell your house. Now, that listing agent usually splits that in half, right? Half of their commission, even though it's the homeowner's money. Technically, it's the equity from the property. But they split that with the buyer's agent. They want to be done with all of that really, really massive, massive change. If that happened, you guys, we would have an excess overnight of agents. We have so many agents leave, and we would have so many buyers, they can't afford proper representation. How's a buyer going to afford that? Let's dig in more. This is pretty wild, you guys. The U.S. Department of Justice told the judge in a major commission antitrust lawsuit.
All right, let's look at the implications. Right now, I'm not saying it's right. It's just the way that it's done, whether it's right or it's wrong. This like gold rush in real estate that we had recently, it has to do with barrier to entry, right? So normally you get a regular loan is 20% down, and then you got the payment that you're supposed to afford. It's like I think the rule of thumb used to be like a third. So if you're making $5,000 a month, a third of that is like what, 1,800 or something like that. So 1,800. That would be the rule of thumb, 20% down, right? But recently with I don't know if you guys remember people getting the 2%, 2.5%, 3%, 3.5% loans, which right now I think today the latest update is like 7 or 8%. On average credit, you're getting like pretty close to 8%. With really good credit, probably just under 7% in the sixes. You can buy down the rate. New houses, they're buying down the rate. I'm seeing like 4.99, so like 5%, something like that. So but normal rate is like 7%, and people aren't putting 20% down. You got the conventionals, you can go 3, 5, 10, 15, 20%. So you can go as low as 3 with the NFHA, 3.5%, even 0% down payment, which is depending on what loan you get. It's 3.5% down, or you can get the down payment assistance, which basically gives you another loan, like a silent loan that doesn't do anything until you finish paying off that first loan, or you like sell the house or something, then you have to pay for it. So you have to live in it. If you move out, they're gonna call that loan due. Right now, as we speak, they just approved. We're in the middle of it, the beginning of it. If you guys remember that Dream Act for All, it's like the government gives you like 20%, but they're not giving it to you. It's not a grant. You're basically partnering up with the government. So they give you 20% to put down. There's qualifications. If you want the details on that, let me know. I'll get you the information. But it's a Dream Act or Home for All, something like that. But it's not a grant. They're not giving you the money. It's definitely helping you to put a large down payment down. But basically, you're partnering up with the government. They're giving you the 20%, and you have to share the equity. It's like Dream Act, shared equity, whatever it is. But say you make $100,000, since the government gave you $20,000, their stake is 20%. So you make $100,000, you gotta break them off 20%. And so you keep 80, they're gonna take $20,000 in the future. That's what that is. So the lower barrier to entry makes it easier for people to buy. When more people are able to buy, they're competing against each other, and this makes the demand go up. It creates an imbalance in the supply demand, right? There's houses are it's the houses that we have, and some houses that are getting built, but we have a lot more people that want to buy than houses that are for sale. So this creates that demand versus supply. And if you make it easier to buy, all of the people that want to buy, since it's easier, even people that want to buy and couldn't buy now are able to buy, right? This makes it also, they all compete against each other for this properties, for these houses, right? So that's what happened to the prices. Now with the rates going up, it's kicking off a lot of people that potentially want to buy. So that's what's been happening over the past about year. That barrier to entry has been lifted a little bit. So a lot of people are falling off. Actually, in the past month, somebody had an approval for say like 500, rate went up, payment changes $100, they can no longer make an offer for 500,000. Now they have to make an offer for like 450 or something like that, simply because the interest rate changed while they were searching for a house, or when they saw the house and put the offer together before it gets into escrow. There's some time that passes, say 2-3 weeks passes, interest rate jumped up, now the payment is way higher, so now they can't afford to offer that same price. That's what's going on right now. Let's get back to the video. I forgot where we were, but let's see.
Late Thursday to deny a proposed settlement between the plaintiff and real estate defendants and call for rules that require buyers to negotiate broker commissions on their own. The plaintiffs and defendants, which include Anywhere, Remax, Keller Williams Home Services America, have said that proposed changes would eliminate the allegedly anti-competitive rule at the heart of the lawsuit. However, the Department of Justice said this is not accurate. Jessica Rule wrote in a legal filing.
I do want to So think about when the government gets involved, right? FHA loan, it's a government-backed loan, right? You got a conventional loan, you have your credit, you have your income and your history. They take that and they're like, okay, this is what you qualify. But since there's a lot of people that can't buy a house with the conventional loan, the FHA product was created. So this is a government-backed loan. The government saying, give these people loans, lower the barrier to entry, give these people loans that can't go conventional, and they'll be backed by us. And that's what mortgage insurance is, by the way. Also, when you don't put 20% down, you have to pay something called mortgage insurance. This is not to your benefit. You do have to pay for it, but if you default, that insurance kicks in and pays back the person that is owed the money, right? So that's why the 20%, that's why you put the 20% down. You show that you got some skin in the game, that you're a little responsible, that you can afford it. That's why you can buy a house that's a little more beat up on conventional, because they're like, okay, you can handle your money, do your property, do what you want. With FHA, you can, if there's a beat up house, there's a good chance that FHA is going to be like, nah, you got to fix this before you buy it. You got to fix that before you buy it. So if you're competing with somebody that is conventional or they're doing cash, they don't have to fix this. They can buy the house and take care of that later. But when I do want to talk about Department of Justice is a government entity. When the government gets involved, stuff gets more expensive. As you can see, they make it easier for people to buy houses. More people compete against each other. Prices of houses go up. Think about school. School used to be cheap. You used to be able to get a job, work, and pay for school. You can't do that anymore. Shout out to somebody, Einstein University. I wherever that's at. They just made it free for people to go to college there if they're trying to be docs. So shout out to them. But the price of schooling has skyrocketed. That's because the government was involved. So let's see, what else has the government been involved in, and then it got expensive. Well, that's where we're at. We probably don't want the Department of Justice to be involved in running this, just to protect people, to protect consumers 100%, but not actually owning because when the government gets involved with stuff, it's, what is it? Somebody said that I'm the government and I'm here to help. That's never a good sign or something. I forgot who. I should be Googling it, but let's get back to the video.
Known as the amicus brief. Far from curing the rule's defects, the proposed settlement perpetrates the very same competitive concerns that trouble the current rules. The DOJ is like, y'all just lost a whole bunch of money, and the settlement does not change things. They're saying it's not enough. So if you guys thought that just that one lawsuit was bad, the DOJ is like, no. That's just the money part. We are going to re-regulate your entire industry. That's going on right now, you guys. Real estate, 5 years from now, real estate landscape, as far as the process, as far as professionals, it's going to be completely different. She wrote that the changes under the proposed settlement would not create competition or reduce commissions, and that it would provide no meaningful benefit to sellers or buyers, except the ones that want the money. I mean, it would benefit them, right? Because they just want all this money. Further, she wrote, the proposed changes could themselves violate federal law. It's pretty wild so far. Allowing sellers and listing brokers to set the commission that buyer brokers would receive would still lead buyers agents to steer clients away from listings with low commissions. And honestly, guys, I'm telling you right now, I've been doing real estate for over 20 years. I've been a CE instructor. I have trained probably 1,000 realtors. They do not want to negotiate their commission. Most of them do not want to do that. And I've heard hundreds of realtors say, if that person's offering a low commission, I'm not even going to send my client to that house. You cannot do that. That happens all the time. And if you're a realtor, have you said that before? Think about it. You don't have to say it out loud, but if you're a realtor, have you ever seen a property listed, say, for half a point or maybe 1 point commission to the buyer's rep, and you decided not to show your client? Think about what I'm saying. It happens all the time.
Okay, there's probably some truth to this. Personally, I'm not I understand that the person buying the house is the one working, paying. It's their sweat going into this. Their sweat equity. So I'm more of a consultant, guide, but I understand where my fiduciary duties lie. What's your goal? To get a house, and then I help you with the goal and with whatever the nuances are. I always keep that in mind, that I'd never put the paycheck in front of the client, right? I would love to just close, and then maybe skip some stops and just make money, but it's not. That's why most of my business is referral business from knowing other people, because I do a good job for people, and then they tell, this is my agent, this is the person that did this for me, and they give me a good recommendation, and I don't have that. I don't have many issues with past clients. You guys have seen how people just don't like agents, and it's true. A lot of people don't like agents. I personally don't have that with my clients. There's always some clients that you can't make them happy, but like he said, some of these agents look at the commissions and I see the commissions sometimes are low, and whether I like it or not, that doesn't really matter because the house is the client is telling me this is the house that I'm interested in. So what I do is see if I can get them into the house. That's what they want. My goal isn't to make the paycheck. My goal is to make that person happy, and the byproduct of that is I get paid to do my job. My job isn't making the paycheck. My job is to make sure I guide people successfully through this real estate, whether it is whether an agent might be stingy or because you never know. You might look at a listing and they might be paying 1% or 1.5%, which seems ridiculous for a lot of work, but because they're not all easy. Every deal is different. There's always like I can talk to some of these clients where we went through this little journey and they're like, wow, I didn't know how complicated that was going to be and how many steps. So it's very time consuming, some of these things. I mean, even places like some cities, like you can have a business license to conduct business in the state of California, and some cities, they won't recognize that business license. They're like, you have to get a business license in this specific city, even though you already have, so it's just different things when somebody sends you an offer. If you're representing the seller, you look at the different offers. Some people might ask for closing costs. They might offer a big number, but they're asking for money back, or it could be an FHA and say somebody sends an FHA, they don't have money, but the house needs some work. They might offer more and ask for some of that money back, but somebody with a conventional loan that's not going to ask for something. Like I explain all this stuff to the sellers, and I don't steer them to go one way or another. I give them the information, I educate, and I let them make the decision. So I know it's not my decision. I could see an offer like, oh, this is going to be a good offer. I'm not pushing that offer. I'm painting a picture, putting it in I'm painting a picture of what each offer entails and what it means, and I let the seller make that decision. That's why I believe my people are happy with me. And don't forget to get it sold by Tuesday. Save my number as Tuesday, my real estate guy. Let's continue.
It's crazy. Instead, buyers should negotiate directly with their buying broker, which could include them paying out of pocket, or, and this is the big thing, negotiating with the seller. And we're going to go into more into that. While some buyers might choose to pay their buying brokers out of.
Let's talk about this. If back when I was talking about government getting involved, making it easy for buyers, right? If they make buyers have to pay their own commissions, you got to understand that's going to be the opposite of lowering the barrier of entry. That's going to, just like right now, the prices of houses were going this way because so many people were able to compete against each other. Rates are going up. A lot of those people fell off. So there's a lot less transactions. So prices of houses stopped going up because of the demand. People weren't fighting against each other. Right now, their prices are holding kind of steady. Some areas up, some areas, I think more areas than not are going down in price. And, I'm talking countrywide, Miami, New York, Tennessee, Chicago, right? Different, Oregon, just different areas. Every market is very specific and different. So if the buyer has to pay their own commission, right, you got to understand, most of the offers in my area, at least, most of the offers are FHA offers. These are all people that need that help with the barrier of entry. Interest rates go up. A lot of those people fall off. Right now, that 6% that the seller pays, that gets split between the seller and the buying agent. So basically, the seller's basically paying the commission, right? But if you have to move some of that burden onto the buyer, out of that pool of buyers, even more of them are going to fall off. So that's going to be less competition. That alone is going to make prices drop because sellers want what their house is worth, and their house is worth what the market is going to pay for them. And the market is decided by the supply and demand for that specific market. So if they make that barrier of entry higher, meaning that because it's already started right with the rates, but making the buyer pay the commission, that makes it more expensive for them. So it's already hard for buyers. You guys already know how prices are. Median income is here, median home prices up here. It doesn't match. So the demand is kind of like disappearing, but that's gonna tank home prices, I think, if you have to make the buyers it depends. If a buyer doesn't have good representation, they might be led into making a ridiculous offer on a house, right? It's an experience thing. You really do need somebody representing, unless you know what you're doing. But that's just gonna kill some of the demand. It's gonna bring prices down, which I'm not rooting for it either way. But if prices come down and I see an opportunity for a house, I'm gonna jump on it. So I would love to get an opportunity to buy a house. Either way, however the market works, I'm probably the right agent to talk to, because I'm gonna ebb and flow with the nuances, and I'm gonna make sure that you're well represented. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find it. You can ask my mentors, and I say mentors because there's a few people that are bug. Like, hey, I got this, da da da. I run it by them. So when you work with me, you're working with like 200 years of experience collectively. And I'm bugging these the old timers, the people that have been through it. All right, let's continue.
Pockets. And here's the thing now: other buyers might request an offer that the seller pay a specific amount to the buying broker from the proceeds of the home sale. Thus, the current practice could continue where the seller factors the commission into the offer the seller is willing to accept. So, in other words, what they're saying is they're saying sellers, you're not going to negotiate it unless you have an offer. So it's kind of like the same thing, but the buyer will be in charge of negotiating that commission through their purchase contract, through their offer. So, for example, I'm going to make an offer on a house. I'm going to make an offer for $200,000, but I will require that you pay 2% to my buyer's rep. What could possibly go wrong with that? I mean, to me, the buyer just got the house. I mean, why would they want to pay? You guys see the issue here. I mean, and then the thing is, guys, agents are absolutely going to freak out because I hear agents cry about this all the time, but they hate driving people around every single weekend and them not putting offers on houses. So one of the things that agents do is they require their clients to sign something called a buyer's rep agreement. That buyer's rep agreement locks that customer into working with that agent. And I'm going to be honest, I hate it. I hate buyer's rep agreements. As a loan officer, 22 years, we never got anything like that. How can you possibly lock someone into working with you? I hate buyer's reps. Absolutely hate it. So hopefully they do away with that as well. But thank God the industry is starting to change. Now, I'm not sure yet how I feel about the buyers being 100% responsible, but thank God they're decoupling the monopoly that these agents had over the market as far as their commissions. It's true. Everything they're saying here is accurate. Let's stay back in. To address the anti-competitive landscape that was...
Oh, wait, this driving around people, when I work with a client, right, I know their goal and I know the houses they're looking at and what they're interested in. They tell me what they're interested in. But I'm not going to take a buyer, right? Say some random person, at the beginning of my career, I did this, but I didn't know what experience. There's a lot of people that will waste your time. Because looking at houses is awesome. I personally, I love looking at houses. Real estate is, this is the best job I've ever had, honestly. But you don't want to take a random person into somebody's house. Say, for example, that you're selling your house. You wouldn't want agents just taking people to the house. You need a ready and willing buyer. So when I'm showing houses, I don't mind driving them around because, right, you got to find the house that fits the buyer. But you got to remember, I vetted the buyer. I know this buyer can buy. They've already talked to a lender, or they got cash, or they are looking for a 3-bedroom in this price range, but they're ready to pull the trigger. I'm not just, people don't just, which people do just hit me up because, hey, can you show me this house? But maybe they can't buy it. Maybe I have to vet this person first. I'm actually taking somebody that can actually buy the house. So it's not like that's why I don't hate driving around showing houses, because I already know I have the house that I'm showing, the person that I'm showing it to actually has the means or can close on this house. Because I think it's disrespectful to show somebody's house. It's somebody's personal space. A lot of people still have their stuff in there. They might even be at work, and then you're worried about people walking through the house. Like, I don't do that. I make sure that the house that they're looking at is something that they can actually buy. All right, let's continue.
As far as their commission, it's true. Everything they're saying here is accurate. Let's stay back in. To address the anti-competitive landscape that would still exist if the proposed settlement was approved, she suggested a settlement that prohibits offers of compensation to buyer brokers by listing brokers. So it's saying that the listing brokers can't even offer this to the buyer's brokers. That's crazy, you guys. And I'm going to tell you what I believe in addition to this should happen. There's one thing that's missing so far, and I'll tell you that here at the end. If MLS pin rules prohibited sellers, so now they're saying they want MLS to prohibit sellers. So the multiple listing, the NAR, the people that just got completely annihilated and crushed, now they want their help. And I don't know this for sure, but it's possible that the government or the Department of Justice takes over MLS. If NAR can't afford to pay these fines, if they have to go out of business, who's going to control MLS? Is it possible that the Department of Justice or the government starts controlling MLS and then they give MLS access to the public? And that's the missing thing, guys. If the public had access to the data, then we would be in better shape. And you guys see me all the time on my live videos. I'm like, guys, if you have access to MLS, here's how you do a market analysis. It's simple, elementary.
All right, access to MLS. It's not that important. There's Redfin, there's Zillow, there's homes.com, there's One Home. There's just a bunch of different places where you can go and get this information. What's the difference between the MLS is that there's stuff like the commission. Yes, definitely the commission is on there, but any good agent, the commission is not going to make a difference. So you're looking for a house. It's the house that you want, and the house has a certain price. So that's one thing. That the commission doesn't, just because the commission is lower or higher on the house doesn't mean you're going to like it less or more. And the other thing is private remarks. Say there's a code, like if for an agent that wants to go show the house, and to get to the house you got to put a code in it's a gated community, maybe there's a lock box, maybe there's a certain time that dogs are there, maybe there's a certain there's certain private remarks that just shouldn't be public, and agents that kind of sign this like code of honor or whatever it's called, that there's certain information that you just can't share, that can't be publicly available. You can't just put a code to a lockbox in a public place. So that's the only difference. But all the important information, like the price, the history, when it's sold, Zillow has all this kind of information. How long has it been on the market? The houses, you can compare it to the houses next, the square footage, the rooms, the amenities, if there's an HOA, like all this information is just readily available. So it's not like you need access to the MLS.
School math, it is not hard to do, but there's a huge but. As a consumer, you need access to MLS because you need to be able to review what's called comps. Comps are comparable sales. So a home that has sold is a comp, and generally you need to be in a subject property.
Once again, you can see houses that have sold for how much. So the way you look at comps is, say you're looking at a house that you want to buy. You go back a few months and see what houses sold and for what price. And not just any house, right? So if you're looking at a 3-bedroom house, you're not going to look at a 2-bedroom house. Try to find another 3-bedroom house that's similar in square footage, because you can have a 3-bedroom house with like a living room and a family room, and that could be like a 1,700 square feet, and there could be a 3-bedroom house that's 1,200 square feet, right? So that's what you want to match up. If one has a pool, see if the other one has a pool. If it doesn't have a pool, it's not that much of a difference. Maybe 10 grand, depending on the area that you're at, 20 grand. 2-story versus 1-story, land, the size of the lot. So this is the kind of things to do comparables. If anybody wants more info on that, let me know.
Subdivision. But my point is, the public needs the information. If they're going to require, if the DOJ is going to require the public to shell out potentially tens of thousands of dollars to get representation, then at least give that same public the ability to do it on their own. Public cannot accurately, in my opinion, most of the public cannot make great offers to purchase houses if they don't know what a great deal is, and they need access to MLS. Do me a favor. Comment below. Do you think that the public should have access to MLS? Or maybe you're an agent and maybe you think, no, they shouldn't have access because I have a license. I spent my time on studying. I paid my fee.
No, I don't think the public should have access to the MLS because there's sensitive information in there. That's really the only difference. It's just like a special group, the special club that signs this fiduciary duty, like you're supposed to take care of these people. And if it's just open to the public, there's information that's going to get out that you're not supposed to advertise stuff that might say when the homeowner's home and when the homeowner's not home. That's the kind of information you can see in the MLS, and you can see that'll turn into a disaster if a burglar can just go, okay, what time? Oh, this guy's not home at this time and this time, and I guess that's the time we can show up and rob this place. That's the kind of stuff that you want to avoid. So no, MLS information should not be publicly available. And then remember, the only difference between the MLS and everything else is it shows the commission, which if a commission's higher or lower, you don't like the house more or less, and the private remarks, the private information. All right, let's continue.
Public should not have access to MLS. But regardless, guys, I want to know how you feel below, so definitely share your thoughts and comments. So the DOJ came out and said, this is what we're trying to do. We are going to try to do this, okay? I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time. That would be, mind. I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't imagine them doing that. I think it would be good.
I do have the same chair, but that's not the one I'm using. It's my gaming chair is the similar chair to that, which I don't game anymore. I would love to. I played like hours, and actually I think I played like 3 days straight one time. So I can definitely game, but I got business I gotta conduct, and I got bills I gotta pay, and there's other more important things. Traveling I gotta do, family you gotta visit with, relationships you gotta take care of. So I'm not a gamer, but I do have a cool gaming chair. I'm pretty sure it's the same one that he's sitting on.
But honestly, and I'm gonna get some hate from my peers in this industry, but to my peers in this industry, I mean, come on guys, take a step back from yourself and look at the situation, look at the quality out there. I mean, you may be a great agent, that's okay. You may be a great agent, but if you're a great agent, then I know that you have dealt numerous times with bad agents, and you should be able to acknowledge the challenges and problems in our industry without getting offended. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go into an article that is going to tell us the response now of the National Association of Realtors. So this came out, DOJ is like, we're going to cripple you, and now we're going to read the article where the National Association of Realtors respond. NAR breaks silence on DOJ call to decouple commissions. Consumer Watchdog CFA hails federal agency's proposal to ban sellers from making compensation offers as a major watershed in promoting more competition in real estate. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, how's that not going to create more?
If the DOJ makes sellers not pay the buyers, that's seriously going to hinder demand. And what happens when demand falls below supply? Less people competing for these things, so the prices of the houses are just going to drop. So if you're a buyer and you don't have a house and you want to buy a house, I'd be all like, yes, DOJ, don't tell these sellers they can't pay the buyers. That's going to drop off a lot of demand, and when demand drops off, prices go down, which I don't mind picking up a property or two if the opportunity's right. But if you own a house, if you're a seller, there's a lot of these sellers are the ones that hate hate the agents. If you guys push for this, just remember, is just because the buying agent is not going to make the commission doesn't mean that you're going to make more money. You're literally going to kill demand, and that's going to make the prices go down. I'm just saying, record this, screenshot this, take a note, and if this happens and the prices come down or the prices go up, you can come back and either tell me, oh, you were right, or hey, you suck, you were wrong, whatever. Just I'm putting my stamp on it. Sellers, probably don't want to do that. If you don't own anything, you probably do want to do that, because if you kill demand, prices are going to come down.
More competition from agents. I mean, that's really the cream's going to rise to the top. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, but my gosh, if buyer's agents don't get paid anymore and the listing agents have an easier job, I mean, how's this going to shake down? It's crazy. A week after the U.S. Department of Justice came out in favor of completely prohibiting home sale.
Remember, the best agents aren't the ones that make the most money. The best agents at marketing, the ones that get that funnel nice and filled up, are the ones that make the most money. But the agents that do a good job, it's kind of hard for the agents that do a good job to concentrate on 10 people at a time. So that limits how many people you can work with. But you give them quality, and they come back, and they come back. I have a lot of repeat business. But there's agents that are awesome, like the top producers. They work with a team. It's a little machine. They push people through. They put their ad on the bench. 10 people call on TV, 10 people call Instagram, 10 people call, boom, boom, boom. They're filling up the funnel, right? Connect them to lenders. They got cash, whatever it is. This is the house, right? They got a team. They got to push them through, boom, boom. Commission, quick, boom, 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 right? This is the Tuesday experience. Get it sold by Tuesday. Curate it to reach your goals. So you can tell people that I helped you reach your goals and they can work with me. That's quality.
From making commission offers to buyers brokers, the National Association of Realtors says that change would hurt consumers. So naturally, the National Association of Realtors is like, you're going to hurt the consumer here, even though they've been hurting the consumer the whole time. So now they want to talk about the consumer. Now they want to talk about the pain that this is causing the consumer. Where were you when we needed you? Where were you when we needed you? I know exactly where you were. You were pushing the fear of missing out and making $100,000 in commission. That's where you were, NAR, when we needed you. That's a fact. For decades, listing agents.
Yeah, NAR's not the best. They charge their little commission. I try to use NAR, National Association of Realtors, California Association of Realtors. They're I don't want to get in trouble. they kind of run things, so I don't want to piss them off. But they're not the best. But I don't see them hurting people on purpose. Business is business,
And buyers agents have shared.
And then this guy hating on agents. He's an agent himself. He's like, he doesn't have to try to talk crap to people. He's an agent. I mean,
shared commissions. Okay, whatever. A system reinforced by NAR, National Association of Realtors. A rule that requires, keep in mind, listing brokers to make blanket unilateral offers of compensation to buyer brokers in order to submit a listing in a realtor affiliated multiple listing service. So there's a requirement, and the public doesn't have access to this. In fact, even if you want to use the multiple listing service, you have to show you're going to pay the other agent. Now, wonder why they lost the lawsuit, right? You guys start to see this? And I'm going to tell you guys right now, okay? And listen to what I'm saying very, very carefully. It's way worse. The fraud, the greed, the lack of transparency is way worse when it comes to the process of purchasing a new.
I'm not against when a listing agent gets a listing and they have to put in the MLS what they're going to pay the other agent, because that opens up the pool of how many people are bidding on the house that the agent is selling. For example, if the agent is not required to pay another agent a commission, then agents they don't want to work for free. So say I get a listing and I put it in the MLS and I'm paying a commission to the buying agent. That commission, that's the incentive for all of the agents. Hey, this is what I'm paying. Who wants this? You're putting a bounty on that. Get me that off. Here's the bounty. And then so now you got all these bounty hunters going out there and because for example, if I don't put this bounty out there, then I can reach 1,000 people, a couple thousand people, email here, make some calls. But if I can reach 1,000 agents, each one of those agents might be able to reach 1,000 people. It's exponentially bigger, the pool of people that you're going to touch, that you're going to motivate to bring that price for the house. And I don't think that's artificially inflating the price of the house, because your job is for a buyer is to get them, and your job for the seller is to sell the house for what they want. And what do sellers want? They want the most amount of money. What do buyers want? They want the house that fits their family, that's within their budget. So that's just how it works. So you should offer a commission so you can pay the people, so they have a bounty and everybody wants to make an offer, and they're motivated to drive and show the houses, right? That's why agents drive and show houses. That's why we answer questions, because we want to create business. This is what we do.
The regulations, or rather the lack thereof, is shocking. There's a massive lack of consumer protection when it comes to purchasing new homes. Don't forget that, guys. The rule is known as the cooperative compensation rule or the participation rule, and it is the subject of every multiple antitrust lawsuit across the country. If they just would not have done that, they probably would not have been in so much trouble. And I'm going to read this last part right here, guys. The DOJ emphasizes that change would not necessarily force buyers to pay commission out of pocket. There's going to be a lot of people that have to do that, or there'll be some people that have to do that. But they're also saying buyers could, in their home purchase offer, request that the seller pay the buyer's broker from the proceeds of the home sale. So they're trying to work it into the purchase contract somehow. Thus, the current practice could continue where the seller factors in the commission into the offer that they're willing to accept. The day after the DOJ's filing, NAR issued a public statement. Now, here's the public statement from the National Association of Realtors. The statement of interest confirms that the DOJ wants to regulate what sellers and their listing agents are allowed to do with their own money and home. So do me a favor, guys, because I get both sides. Okay, so on one hand, you have greed, corruption, and fraud. On the other hand, you have government intervention, government taking more freedoms away, and more government involvement. What's the worst of the two? So far, let me know how you feel. Do you think the government should stay out of this, or do you think it should go after some of this fraud? So NAR continues.
It's a little wild claim to say that it's fraud. This is how markets work. Supply, demand. Let's finish the video.
Prohibiting all offers of compensation will harm consumers, including by making it more costly than it already is for buyers. Oh my God. Poor buyers, for home buyers to access capable representation by reducing access.
So he thinks it's fraud for buyers, lower barrier of entry, right? So like an FHA loan lowers the barrier of entry so that people are able to buy houses. This is the problem with the that they say with the government getting involved that ruins everything, makes it more expensive. But people want to buy a house. They want to have their own house. I don't think that's fraud. I know so many people that can't buy a house. Some people do team up with other people. Some people get work 2 jobs, whatever they got to do to own a house, but they just can't qualify with the regular 20% down, and with the credit qualifications and the income qualifications. A lot of people just can't, so they lower the barrier of entry. I don't think that's fraud. If a seller buys a house for $200,000 and then they can sell the house for $400,000, they can pay a percentage of that. So which is say 6%. You split that between the buyer and the selling agent. 6% of 400,000 is 24. What is it? It's 24,000. That's with the marketing that we have to do, all that stuff, and then the agent has to drive around, and you're making 200 grand, you're paying 20 grand, 24,000 that you're spending to get that. But if you don't have which 24,000, yeah, sounds like a big number, but if you don't have all these motivated buyers, you can't sell your house for 100,000. You'd have to sell your house for like 300,000. So you rather pay 24 to help a buyer get into a house, or would you rather not pay that and kill a bunch of the people that are a bunch of the demand that are there, and then you only make, instead of paying, say you pay 12,000, pay half of the commission, but instead of getting 400,000 for your house because you just eliminated a bunch of the demand, now you're only paying 12,000, but you're only getting a $300,000 off the 100 grand that you're losing out on. Does that make sense?
It's just too fair housing. Some big, strong words right there, right? But where were they when it mattered? I keep going back to that. There is a great deal at stake for buyers and sellers all across the country. And NAR, the National Association of Realtors, will continue to work in and out of court towards the best possible outcome for property owners in America. Yeah, America. And the professionals who steal from them. I mean, I want the slow reading group. It's not steal. It's represent.
Something else, another point that I want to make. Right now, right, the seller is paying for the commission of the listing agent and the buying agent. For the most part, that's how it works right now. What's going to happen when buyers can't afford that and then sellers stop paying that? What's going to happen? People are still going to want to buy houses. They're going to find ways to do it. They're going to have, I'm assuming, finance on top of already buying the house. You're going to have to finance that commission to the agent, right? So instead of a buying agent making the money, because there's a lot of agents, so you got like a bank that finances, makes billions of dollars, a bank, versus a agent that's representing this buyer that gets paid 10,000, 5,000, 10,000, just depend. I mean, a big commission. Say you get a $20,000 commission. Look at the numbers, right? If an agent makes 10 grand versus a bank making $1 billion, which is 10 grand times 10 is 100 grand times 10, 1 million times 10, 10 million times 10, 100 million times 10, a billion, right? See how much exponentially what these banks are going to make. So now you're basically taking money from everyday people and giving it to the big institutions. And that's never I don't think that's a good thing. But it basically, someone's going to get the money. And the difference that I see is instead of it going to say 100 agents or 1,000 agents across the country, and those agents that live in these neighborhoods, and then they go to the restaurants and they go to the store, they go to the deli, deli, whatever it is, right? The bodega, whatever. It's going to go, instead of going for them, it's going to go instead to the banks. And they're going to make, they're going to make their $1 billion instead of this agent making 10 grand that's going to spend it in the community. The bank is going to make the $1 billion. And what do banks do with their money? You want to look up BlackRock, State Street, you know what I mean? George Soros and all this stuff. Look at what the big people do with the money. And think Target, they Disneyland. There's certain things, right? Like, don't you rather have the money stay in the community and the community do with the money what the community does with the money? Or you want to give it to the big people to decide what we do with our lives?
And I apologize for that. This DOJ opinion virtually guarantees that buyers will eventually be able to negotiate buyer agent commissions that are currently fixed through industry collusion. So if you're a realtor, I hope you've been listening to me, because the cheerleading is done. America, and I'm a realtor, I can say this, I feel this out there. America hates realtors. And honestly, and my peers are going to be upset at me from saying this, but I'm just being honest, I can't blame them. I myself, I gotta be careful how I say this, but most realtors I cannot stand. I get under my skin. Most realtors. But I really respect the great ones. It's just they're so...
I can confirm there's a lot of annoying realtors. I don't think I'm one of them, but I'm not the person in front of me. So there is a lot of people that don't like me. I have clients actually that don't like me, but they won't work with another realtor.
So few and far between, but I'm really interested, whether you're a realtor or a consumer, how do you feel about this? Overall, I think something definitely needs to change. I think it's absolutely wild what they're proposing. I don't know, exactly how that's going to play out, but overall, I think it's great, so long as the public, in addition to what they're saying, they have access to MLS. If the public can start doing their own market analysis, imagine the strength, imagine the empowerment of the public. I think that part would be great. I think that public should get MLS access. Other than that, guys, if you're out there investing, and you know what, charge them a fee. You have often people buy houses, charge the public a $50 fee or something, but give us the ability to have access.
All right, so that was real estate mindset. Let me see, let me make sure. Yeah, real estate mindset. Good videos. I just I watched the video. I thought there was some a little gross comments that he made, but I just want to give my opinion. And real estate mindset, keep up the work. I like the videos, and yeah, that was my opinion. Don't forget, you got any questions? Toosdae.com, TOOSDAE, or right here, TOOSDAE.com. Just hit me up. Got any real estate questions, any plans? Get it sold by Tuesday.